2015 is all that you desire. You create, invent, manifest, attract all that you truly desire, need, want in 2015. In today's little clip here, I want to be able to share with you a little tip that has truly worked for me when it comes to New Year's resolutions. Otherwise, I just call them goals, because really, in all essence, a New Year's resolution is a goal that you're trying to strive for. So when it comes to goal planning, one of the biggest things I tell people all the time is you want to be smart about it. That's the key to striving to achieve your goals. It's going to give you that edge to try to really get to that level to where you make it a little easier on yourself. So, how to be smart about choosing your goals? It's very simple. You want to make it specific. The way the universe works is the more clear you are about what you desire, the easier it is to manifest. As my coach tells me, a confused mind always says no. A confused mind telling the universe what it needs will never truly get the message across to make the universe shift and change to create what it is you desire. You have to be crystal clear. I mean crystal clear. You have to know exactly what it is that you desire, the goal of how you're going to get there, the step-by-step process you're going to take to get there, and how you're going to create all that. The second one is measurable. You got to make it measurable, and that helps with being specific, because if you can measure out how your progress is, so for example, let's say you want to make $120,000 this year. Well, you got to make $10,000 a month, right? How much does that break down per week? How much, $2,500. How much does that break down per day? And then you got to allocate and say, okay, what do I need to do in order to make that happen? What do I have to do? Like, if I'm only making $50,000 in a job, I'm gonna have to get very creative with this. But what are the things you need to do to strive? Now, it doesn't have to be money. It can be happiness. It can be whatever you whatever it is that you desire. In 2015, that is what you're gotta figure out how to make it measurable, so you know you're on track to where you want to go. The third thing is make it attainable. You want to make sure that it's something that you can attain, something that you can achieve, something that you can really get to. If your goal for 2015 is to be 6'7" and you're 5'4", we're going to need to talk about that. Attainability and being realistic are kind of similar to one another. The R is for being realistic. Make sure it is realistic to you and to who you are. If you don't have the mindset or not prepared to really put in the work to achieve a goal that's going to take a lot of work, make it a little easier on yourself and be more realistic to what works for you. And, I'm not saying to stay comfortable, because trust me, I'm not about that. I'm all about pushing the limit and beyond. But the thing is, you just want to make sure you make the goal realistic. If you want to make $200,000 and you're only making $40,000 a year, is that a realistic goal? I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just make it more realistic. How is that going to be? And I can't really tell you that. It's really up to you on what realistic is. But you want to try to do some research behind if it's in your own business and you're trying to strive to a certain level. Let's say you want to lose 80 pounds by the next week. How realistic is that? Let's say you want to have all the happiness in the world, but you're not happy with yourself. And you're like, I want to have this by next week. There's some work, there's some process you have to go through. And also time. You gotta have deadlines. You gotta give it a time frame of what you're gonna do to achieve from point A to point B and so forth. So what are the things that you are going to do in order to get to that level? What are the things, what deadline you're gonna put on it? Is it starting until the end of 2015, this is what you want to achieve? Is it 6 months down the road? As you measure things out, I always recommend having points to where you can evaluate where you are in the time frame of how well you're doing and how close or far away you are from your goal, because sometimes you might need to make an adjustment. Sometimes that does happen, and you want to just say, okay, I need to adjust this, to change this, to get me to this level. And that's perfectly fine. It happens all the times. Goals are not set to be like, oh my God, this is what it is, or else I failed. It's like, this is what I'm striving for. The goal is the stars. I went a little short this time and I landed on the moon, but guess what? You still did something outside this world, and that's the key. So make sure it's SMART. Every goal you choose, New Year's resolutions, but just make sure they're SMART. And that's what the 8%ers do. If you haven't heard of who the 8%ers are, these are 8% of the people who succeed when it comes to New Year's resolutions compared to the 92. So I thank you for checking out my video. Until next time, be well, live well, the choice is yours.